Hit the courts with the brand new Dunlop CX200 OS. In its second generation, the Dunlop CX200 OS continues to offer a unique playing experience. The racket features a forgiving 105 square inch head size, while still maintaining the high levels of control and feel the CX line is known for. New to this update is PowerGrid String Tech Plus technology for increased spin and power potential, along with Vibro Shield material added to the midsection of both the hoop and shaft for a more comfortable ride. Lastly, Dunlop refines the beam to more of a box shape to enhance stability and control. The Dunlop CX200 OS is a great option for intermediate players looking for the best of both worlds. I found the CX200 OS to be a really unique playing experience. While it is a really user-friendly racket, for me, I did have a small adjustment period, and I'll kind of explain. When I first started off, I was swinging full force, giving it all, and then I realized that the ball was launching and I was trying to get that control. And the more I hit with it, I actually found that if I kind of slowed down my swing and I actually kind of more of a compact swing, I was actually getting more control. So I had to do less to get more with this racket. I also found it to be really forgiving. It's nice, forgiving sweet spot. There was nice, easy power and depth on my ground strokes. I actually thought this racket would be really fun for doubles. I thought it was a great experience when I was serving. Easy pop on my serves. My serves were landing deep in the service box, and then when I was transitioning up to net, it was really easy to get some nice punch on my volleys to put away. I also thought the spin potential was there when I needed it. I love to really rotate my wrist and get the balls to kind of dip at my opponent's feet, especially when they're up at net playing doubles. With the weight being under 300 grams at around 295 grams unstrung, it does have a higher swing weight. So for me, those two specs kind of balanced each other out. And while I was expecting to have some instability, it was only really a couple times when I was reaching up at net or returning that I was kind of feeling a little bit of twisting. But overall, for the actual overall specs, I thought it was a really solid playing frame. For me, I found the Dunlop to offer a nice blend of power and forgiveness combined with precision and feel.
The Dunlop CX200 OS is not a big departure from its prior model. However, I'd say this racket does sort of stand alone within the industry. Not every racket can I feel where the power is coming from. I can judge it based on what it says on paper, but I could really feel where the power and control was coming from with this racket, and it meshed with my game very nicely. So at about 10.9 ounces, I felt like I was straddling the line in terms of racket stability and agility, just kind of right on the fine line with that. And then on top of that, to just kind of add more stability and power, is a 105 head size, and then 16-19 pattern definitely makes the spin easy to develop. So shot depth was very easy to control. And again, this racket does kind of err slightly on the side of being light, but it was heavy enough to allow me to play my game, which is basically absorbing pace, counter punching, and changing direction of the ball. My favorite shot to hit with this is probably the serve, but overall, just grinding from the baseline was probably my second favorite part of this play test as well. For anyone that's looking for that racket that's not too heavy, not too light, I think this racket is just right. In addition, you wouldn't have to do much to this racket at all to really kind of juice it up, give it some extra stability with a leather grip and a little bit of weight in the hoop. Overall, just a fantastic racket and play test.
This was the third of this iteration of CX rackets that I was able to test, and this OS version was the most forgiving of them all. The other two I tested was the CX200 and the 400 Tour. With that 105 square inch head size, I found the sweet spot to be quite generous. I also found it to offer easier depth than the regular CX200. Off the baseline, I just really liked to be relaxed and spin the ball in. I didn't find it as precise as that CX200, but I did enjoy that easier depth and that easier access to spin. I think that spin window is nice and big with this bigger head size. At net, I really enjoyed the comfort. I did find it to be quite stable for a racket with a 105 square inch head size and a sub 300 gram weight. I think that's a nice combination of offering me good stability, also good maneuverability, which is something that's very key to me to feel confident at net. One of my favorite shots was my serve. Now, oftentimes I find oversized rackets to feel a little bit cumbersome over my head. Just I'm not a very big person, and so sometimes I'm more comfortable with the 100 square inch head size. However, this one was swinging nicely over my head, and I liked the access to spin I was getting on my serves. Overall, I really found this racket to be very fun to play with, offering a good amount of feel and comfort and power.
The one word that keeps coming up when everyone talks about hitting with this oversized racket from Dunlop is fun. And it is just a super fun racket to get out there. It's got a massive spin window, it's light, it's fast, so you can easily swing it quickly to get that ball rotating quickly as well. And so just from the baseline, I had fun carving angles with it, trying to get as much slice of my shots as I could with it. Same at net, like carving around, hitting those little angle volleys, and then really aggressively cutting under the ball, trying to get as much backspin on it as I could and get that ball to die and move away from my opponent as fast as possible. On serve, it's a little bit light for my preferences, but again, I was able to access a lot of spin. I got decent pace, just wasn't hitting a heavy serve with it, but my directional control, surprisingly good considering the oversized head. And it's a very comfortable, very forgiving racket. And as Mark Boone mentioned, you can add a little bit of weight if you're a stronger player and beef it up. But really, I think it's a great fit for that intermediate level player who wants to slice and dice, add a lot of spin, easy pace to their game, and get a lot of comfort while they're doing it. This is a great option.
We strung up the Dunlop CX200 OS with a couple different string setups, including Dunlop Explosive Spin and Explosive Red at around 53 pounds. For more information on this racket or any others, please check us out at Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Warehouse Europe, or Tennis Only.